Mark Schulman on the drums.
So I take you back to 2005, and it's the beginning of the summer. And I had just finished the longest tour in recorded pop music history with Cher, which was just 6 weeks shy of 3 years. And this was going to be the first summer that I had off since I started touring, and I was really looking forward to it. And then the phone rang at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night, and it was a very distressed-sounding friend of mine, Matt Sorum, who had been the drummer for Guns N' Roses and was currently the drummer for the all-star band Velvet Revolver that featured some of the band members from Guns N' Roses like Slash and Duff, and the late Scott Weiland from the band Stone Temple Pilots. I asked him, "Matt, what's up, man? You sound stressed." And he said, "Well, brother, I broke my hand in a water skiing accident, and Velvet Revolver is slated to co-headline Ozzfest with Black Sabbath starting next week, and I obviously can't do it, and I'm calling you to see if you're available." Of course, I felt horrible for my friend, but I must say I got incredibly excited, and my first thought was, hell yeah! Going out and playing Ozzfest with Velvet Revolver sounds like a great way to spend the summer to me. And I told him, "Of course, buddy, anything you need, you just let me know." Well, as it turns out, Slash had concurrently called another great drummer named Brian Tichy, who's also a friend of mine. And ironically, Brian and I have both played with Billy Idol and Foreigner. So Slash hired Brian, but he could only do 1 week because he was scheduled to go back on the road with Billy Idol. So I would be starting in a week and playing 5 weeks of Ozzfest. So management sent me some live recordings, some studio recordings. I charted everything out and got as prepared as I could be, understanding that there would be no rehearsal prior to me going on stage. So the next thing I knew, I was on a plane, flying out to meet the band and watch one show with Brian playing. And the next day, we only did a little acoustic run-through in the dressing room right before the show. And the next thing I knew, I was on the stage with Velvet Revolver, playing in front of about 20,000 hard rock heavy metal fans, all going, "Dude, the energy and the volume was not like anything I had ever experienced in my life prior to this." Velvet Revolver was by far the loudest band with whom I'd ever played. Slash had a stack of Marshall cabinets all on 11, and Duff a stack of bass cabinets that were literally vibrating me to the bone. And the drum tech Feely was giving me the tempos by using a metronome and tapping my shoulder so I could start the songs at the right tempo. The white-skinned, black-haired, heavily pierced crowd was wild, including creating a mosh pit right in front of the stage. And I was feeling this intense rush. It was like a hybrid of extreme excitement and just a little bit of fear. But I must say, we played 3 or 4 songs, and I thought it was going quite well, actually. And then it came time for Scott to introduce the band. So first he introduced Slash, and then Duff, and then Dave Kushner, the other guitar player. Then it was my turn, and he says to the audience, "Listen, everybody, our drummer, our brother Matt Sorum, could not be here with us today because he broke his hand in a bizarre water skiing accident. But we have a dear friend of ours substituting for him." And then he put the mic back to me and looked at me nervously. And he said, "And he's going to tell you his name." Well, that was one of the most embarrassing moments I'd ever experienced on the stage. And I basically froze for a moment. I looked over at Slash, and Slash was just covering his head. He actually walked off the stage in embarrassment. But then I got my bearings. And I remember thinking I needed to do something that was different, clever, and creative. And then I had this idea come over me, and I stood up with a big grin on my face. And I looked down at my friends, down at my drums, and I didn't say a word. I just hit a drum, then I hit another drum, then hit another drum. I got faster and faster and faster and faster. I just got really, really frenetic and played as quickly as I could. I was spinning my sticks, and I stopped, and I ended up just throwing my sticks into the audience. And the audience started howling with approval. Then I motioned for Scott to give me the mic, and I proudly said, "I'm Mark Schulman." Then I sat down, and I counted out the next song. So the big takeaway from this experience is pretty obvious, but it can be so powerful and relatable in today's COVID climate. We can tap into our creativity and take adverse situations and turn them into opportunities that we create to manifest a better outcome than we could have ever imagined. So you have the ability to just about in every situation to jump outside your comfort zone or go to the edge of the comfort zone and do what my dear friend, firefighter and keynote speaker Shelley Varela calls hacking opportunity. You can end up winning even bigger than you ever imagined. You simply need to know that it is truly possible. Go ahead, change the world.